Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed about the sp, sp2 and sp3 hybridization and unique properties of carbon. So, in all the examples, whatever we discussed, the central atoms belongs to the second period elements. In the second period elements, only s and p orbitals are present. But when it comes to the third period elements, in addition to the s and p orbitals, the d orbitals are also present. So these d orbitals are comparable in energy with the s and p orbitals. To explain the geometry of a molecules or shapes of a molecules formed by the third period elements, definitely the d orbitals has to be involved in the hybridization in addition to s and p orbitals. That is our today's concept, hybridization in elements involving d orbitals. So now here, what type of hybridizations are possible when the elements involving their d orbitals? So there are different types of hybridizations. Say sp3, so far we know, if one d orbital is additionally involved, sp3d and sp3d2 and sp3d3. In some of the molecules, dsp2, in some of the molecules d2sp3 or dsp3, like that, the different types of hybridizations are possible. But here I will discuss only the sp3d and sp3d2. So the remaining you will very well known in the coming semesters, especially in the second year, while discussing the D block and F block elements and coordination compounds. There, they might be clearly explained about dsp2, dsp3 and d2sp3 hybridization. But in our today's topic only, I will discuss the sp3d type of hybridization and sp3d2 hybridization. In these two hybridization, in addition to the s and p orbitals, the here 1 d orbital, here 2 d orbitals are involved in the hybridization. So now let us first discuss sp3d hybridization. So you know very well, in the so far discussed example, the maximum valency around the central atom either is 2 or 3 or 4. So whenever the d orbitals are involved in the hybridization, in addition to the s and p orbital, the central atom covalency might be extended to 5 or 6 or 7. If that covalency is 7, the type of hybridization is, what is that? sp3d hybridization. So in sp3d hybridization, 1 s orbital and 3 p orbitals, 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals and 1 d orbitals, which are comparable in energy, which are almost equivalent in energy, are participated in the hybridization and redistribute their energies. That will be resulting into the formation of a new set of orbitals. That new set of orbitals are 1 plus 3 4, 4 plus 1 5, totally 5. So here 1 s and 3 p and 1 d, sp3d hybrid orbitals are formed. These sp3d hybrid orbitals are oriented in trigonal bipyramidal geometry. Trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So that 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals, okay, adopted trigonal bipyramidal geometry. You know that in the trigonal bipyramidal geometry, so all the bonds are not equal. The 3 bonds are present on the plane. The 2 are perpendicular to the plane. One is above and another one is below of the plane is present. So that out of the 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals, the 3 sp3d hybrid orbitals are pointed towards the corners of the equilateral triangle, okay, and the remaining 2 sp3d hybrid orbitals are present perpendicular to the trigonal planar. So that is one is above and another one is below. That will be resulted into the geometry trigonal bipyramidal geometry. This is I write simply and diagrammatically. So one s orbital, and one p orbital, another p orbital, and one more p orbital, and d orbital. Let us take any one of the d orbitals. Say it is easy to draw that dz square orbital. These are hybridized together to form 5 sp3 hybrid orbitals. They are adopted which geometry? Trigonal bipyramidal geometry. In the trigonal bipyramidal geometry, the 3 sp3 hybrid orbitals are present on the plane. The remaining 2 are perpendicular to the plane. So now here, so these 3 are on the plane. These 2 are present to the perpendicular to the plane. So these 3 are equatorial and this is axial. So like that, the 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals are adopted trigonal bipyramidal geometry. You know very well, the axial bond length is slightly greater than the equatorial bond. So that's why these hybrid orbitals are somewhat away from the central atom as compared to the equatorial hybrid orbitals. Now the best example, so for this one is, you know very well, the PCl5 molecule, phosphorus pentachloride. We discussed in the valency shell electron pair repulsion theory. In that one, what is the central atom? The central atom is phosphorus. So now phosphorus electronic configuration you know, that is Z is equal to 15, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3 and 3d0. This is the ground state electronic configuration. The ground state electronic configuration, so when we see the valency shell, the 3s orbital is having 2 electrons, the 3p orbitals containing one electron in each orbital. The 3d orbital does not contain any electrons. It is vacant. But around the phosphorus, the 5 chlorine atoms are there. That is pentavalency. The pentavalency of phosphorus could not explained by the ground state electronic configuration. So that your promotion concept is needed. So the electron is promoted from 3s orbital to 3d orbital. So that we get the phosphorus, that is equal to 15, the first excited state electronic configuration. So that is 3s1 and 3p3 and 3d1. So in the 3s orbital, one electron is present. In 3p3 subshell, each orbital is containing one electron. In 3d orbital, out of the 5 orbitals, so one orbital is containing one electron. Now this first excited state electronic configuration of phosphorus, okay, is explain the pentavalency. So that here one 3s orbital and 3p orbitals and one 3d orbital are hybridized together. So to form simply 1 plus 3 4 plus 1 5, totally 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals. All the 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals are equivalent in energy and shapes. So just for our understanding, these 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals, if I write like this, each of 5 sp3 hybrid orbitals, so containing 1 2 3 4 5, so containing one electron in that. How many electrons are present? One electron is present. These 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals adopted which geometry? So trigonal bipyramidal geometry. In the trigonal bipyramidal geometry, the 3 hybrid orbitals are on the plane, the 2 are perpendicular to the plane. So now, when comes to the phosphorus is connected to the which one? Chlorine. The chlorine, you know very well, the chlorine is Z is equal to 17, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. When we see their valency shell electronic configuration, 3s2, 3p5. In the valency shell, one of the p orbital is off-filled. So that off-filled 3p orbital is overlapping with the sp3d hybrid orbitals of phosphorus. So that here 5 chlorines are there, 5 3p orbitals. Here 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals are there. So that each sp3d hybrid orbital is overlapped with 3p orbital of chlorine to form 5 sigma bonds. That is drawn like this. So now 3p orbital, that is also in which shape? You know, p orbital shape. So this is a 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. So totally the 5 bonds are formed. These are formed by, so here which orbital this is? Just I'll draw on 1. So now these one sigma bond, this is another sigma bond, third sigma bond, fourth one and fifth one. All the sigma bonds are formed by the same kind of overlapping, that is axial overlapping between sp3d hybrid orbital and 3p orbital of chlorine. Here 3p orbital and this is sp3d. So this is also 3p orbital and sp3d. So 3p orbital of chlorine and sp3d hybrid orbital of phosphorus. So 3p orbital and sp3d hybrid orbital. Like that, so the sigma bond is formed. That is, we can show, so simply in box diagram like this. Once again I will draw this one. The 5 are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is PCl5 molecule is formed now. So each sp3 hybrid orbital is containing 1 electron. So this is from the phosphorus. So now each chlorine is contributing, okay. So 1 electron for the pairing is takes place whenever the overlapping. So this is electron is coming from chlorine. This is also coming from chlorine, which will be resulted into the which one? Pairing. Overlapping of orbitals is results into the pairing of electron, that will be resulted into the formation of bond. So that's why here the trademark electron is coming from which one? And is contributed by the chlorine. It is also chlorine. This is chlorine from, this is also chlorine, and this is from chlorine. So now this blue, okay, is represents is sp3d hybrid orbital of phosphorus, that is containing electron. Like that the formation of the PCl5 takes place, that we can show in so box diagram. This is we can write in this exact, okay, how they are overlapping these takes place, because as that covalency increases, the complexity is increases to explain or to draw the structure. Just okay, that's instead of writing this one. So in most of the textbook they represent like this. That means sp3 hybrid orbital of phosphorus and 3p orbital of chlorine. Overlapping is takes place. That will be resulted into pairing of electrons. As a result, the bond is formed between the phosphorus and chlorine. Phosphorus and chlorine. Phosphorus and chlorine. Phosphorus chlorine. Phosphorus chlorine. Like that 5 phosphorus chlorine sigma bonds are formed by overlapping of sp3 hybrid orbitals and 3p orbital of chlorine. This is the example. You know very well here two types of bond angles are possible. So one bond angle is that is 90 degrees and the another bond angle is 120 degrees. So whatever the bonds are present on the plane, so here between these two, the 120 degrees, and between the axial and equatorial, that is 90 degrees. So the axial bond length is always greater than the equatorial bond. This is I said very clearly in valency shell electron pair repulsion theory. So once again I'll recollect. So in some of the molecules the d orbitals are also involved in the hybridization in addition to the s and p orbitals. Especially the molecules are formed by the third period elements. So now here in that one type of hybridization is sp3d hybridization. What is sp3d hybridization? One s orbital, 3 p orbitals, one d orbital, which are comparable in energy, are hybridized together to form 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals. This hybridization is called sp3d hybridization. These 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals are adopted trigonal bipyramidal geometry. In the trigonal bipyramidal geometry, out of the 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals, the 3 hybrid orbitals are pointed towards the corners of the equilateral triangle, and the remaining 2 are arranged in perpendicular to that triangle. One is above the plane and another one is below the plane. The best example for this sp3d hybridization, phosphorus pentachloride. In the phosphorus pentachloride, the phosphorus is a central atom. The electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3, 3d0. This ground state electronic configuration does not account for pentavalency of phosphorus because only the 3 unpaired electrons are present. So to account for the pentavalency of phosphorus, it is needed the concept of promotion. So when we are promoting an electron from the 3s orbital to 3d orbital, that results into first excited state electronic configuration of phosphorus, that is 3s1, 3p3, 3d3. The first excited state electronic configuration account for the pentavalency of phosphorus because of the presence of 5 unpaired electrons. So now here the 1 3s orbital, 3 3p orbital and 3 orbital, these are comparable in energy, so that they are hybridized together to form 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals. So these 5 sp3d hybrid orbitals are oriented in trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So now the phosphorus is connected to the chlorine. The chlorine electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. In the valency shell, one of the 3p orbital, okay, containing an unpaired electron. So that 3p orbital is always try to overlap with sp3d, so that each sp3d hybrid orbitals of phosphorus is overlapped with the 3p orbitals of chlorine atoms to form 5 phosphorus chlorine sigma bonds. So that phosphorus 5 sigma bonds all are, okay, not same. So that whichever are present on the plane, they are equatorial, and whichever are present on that, okay, perpendicular to the plane, they are called axial. That's why all the 5 PCl bonds are not equal. That is, I said very clearly in valency shell electron pair repulsion theory. And here the 2 bond angles are possible. So one is 90 and another one is 120. So between the bonds which are present on the plane, the bond angle is 120. The bond angle between axial and equatorial bonds, that is 90 degrees. So this is the one of the best example for sp3d hybridization. So the another type of hybridization in the elements involving d orbitals, that is sp3d2 hybridization. In sp3d2 hybridization, 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals, 2 d orbitals are involved in the hybridization to form 3 plus 2 plus 1, totally 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals are formed. These 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals adopted geometry, octahedral geometry. This hybridization is called sp3d2 hybridization. So the 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals adopted octahedral geometry like this. This is one sp3d2. This is another one sp3d2, 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 sp3d2. Like that, they are adopted which geometry? Octahedral geometry. In that one, the bond angle between the hybrid orbitals is 90 degrees. The best example for this one is SF6 molecule. Sulfur, Z is equal to 16. The electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. In the ground state electronic configuration, the valency shell 3s orbital is consists of 2 electrons. In 3p orbitals, each orbital is filled with 1 and one more orbital is paired, whereas the 3d orbital is remained as vacant. So the ground state electronic configuration does not account for the covalency of sulfur, that is 6. So that we need to be promote an electron from the here 3s2, 3p4, 3d 0. We need to be promote an electron from p orbital to d orbital, 3d 0. So that we get the sulfur first excited state electronic configuration. Here The first one is remained same, that is 3s2. So here one electron is promoted, so that each orbital is containing one electron, no paired electron. And the 3d orbitals, one of the orbital can accommodate with one electron. So that the configuration is become 3s2, 3p3, 3d1. So the first excited state electronic configuration is also could not account to the covalency of sulfur, that is 6. So that we need to be promote one more electron from the 3s orbital to 3d orbital. As a result, we get the second excited state electronic configuration. Second excited state electronic configuration. First excited state, second excited state electronic configuration is here 3s1, 3p3, and 3d. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now the one more d orbital is also filled with electron. So now here 3s1, 3p3, 3d2. Totally 6 atomic orbitals with half field present. This second excited state electronic configuration can satisfy or account for the 6 covalency of sulfur, that is 6. Now here 1 3s orbital, 3 3p orbitals, 2 3d orbitals, which are comparable in energy, are hybridized together to form 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 2. So totally 6 sp3 d2 orbitals are formed. 6 sp3 d2 hybrid orbitals are formed. So now that is, I will write in a box diagram all the, so SF6, all the 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. Just for our understanding, I can write like this because all are equivalent in energy and shape. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each sp3d2 hybrid orbital is containing one electron already present in sp3d2 hybrid orbital. Later, the fluorine you know very well. Fluorine Z is equal to 9. The configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. In the valency shell, the 2s orbital is 2 electrons, 2py. The 2p5, out of the 3p orbitals, 2 are filled, 1 is off filled. This is involved in the formation of bonding. Now, so each of these 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbital overlapped with, so this is 2s, 2px, say for example 2py and 2pz, overlapped with the 2pz orbital of fluorine atom to form 6 sf sigma bonds. So that's why one electron is coming from the F, here one electron is coming from fluorine, here from fluorine, here from fluorine, here from fluorine, here from fluorine. So that this is the electron is coming from fluorine, it is also coming from fluorine, 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 fluorine. So what do you mean by this one? Means the 2p orbital of fluorine, sp3d2 hybrid orbital of sulfur axially overlapping, so which will be resulted into the formation of sigma bonds. Like that, each sp3d2 hybrid orbital of sulfur is overlapped with the 2p orbital of fluorine atoms to form 6 sigma bonds. That means, so whatever the sigma bond is formed, okay, between, so the sulfur and fluorine, so all the 6 sulfur and fluorine bonds are formed by overlapping, axial overlapping of sp3d2 hybrid orbital of sulfur and 2p orbital of fluorine atom. That will be resulted into the formation of the sigma bond. So that is, we can see the diagrammatically. It is not easy to draw. So just we write. If the fluorine we write, then we can overlapping. So overlapping of that one, like that we can write. But it seems to be not good. It has become complex to understand. Just for easy to understanding, we can write like, now SF6 molecule is formed. Okay, so by the overlapping of sp3d2 hybrid orbital of sulfur and 2p orbital of fluorine, that will be resulted into the formation of the sigma bonds. Like that, 6 sigma bonds are formed between sulfur and fluorine. This is about the hybridization, that is sp3d2 in the case of sulfur hexafluoride molecule. So we may also draw the diagram. These 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals are adopted this geometry. So after adopting this geometry and f orbital, 2p orbital is overlapping. Like that we write it, as we discussed in the earlier example. So like that here also we can write, but I cannot mention because you can easily understand this topic. That's why I won't write the structure. So simply the sulfur hexafluoride. Now the sulfur is connected to the 6 fluorines in octahedral shape. So F, F and F, F. The bond angle, just now I said, that is 90 degrees. Any bond angle is, that is 90 degrees. This is the shape of octahedral molecule. So once again I will explain this sp3d2 hybridization. sp3d2 hybridization means one s orbital, 3 p orbitals, 2 d orbitals, which are almost similar in energy, are hybridized together to form 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. They are oriented or adopted which geometry? Octahedral geometry, like this. So now here, for example, the sulfur hexafluoride is the best example to explain sp3d2 hybridization. In the sulfur hexafluoride, sulfur ground state electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4, 3d0. So in that one only the 2 atomic orbitals are with off field. So that's why the ground state electronic configuration does not account for the hexavalency of sulfur. So that we need to promote the electron from 3p orbital to 3d orbital. As a result, we get first excited state electronic configuration. In the first excited state electronic configuration, only the 4 atomic orbitals are off field. This is also does not account for the hexavalency of sulfur. So to explain the hexavalency of sulfur, we need to promote one more electron from 3s orbital to 3d orbital. So now it will be resulted into 6, the second excited state electronic configuration. In the second excited state electronic configuration, so the 6 atomic orbitals are off field. So this is account for the hexavalency of sulfur. So that means here nowhere, so far we discussed so many examples. So nowhere we cannot promote the electrons 2 times, only we can promote 1 time. But here we are promoting the 2 times. So first 1 time from 3p orbital, and the second time from 3s orbital. Okay, anyway, so the second excited state electronic configuration of the sulfur can explain the hexavalency of sulfur, so that here 1 3s orbital, 3 3p orbital, 2 3d orbitals are hybridized together to form 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals. All are equivalent in energy and shape. Each of these 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbital is overlapped with which one? 2p orbital of fluorine atom. So that will be resulted into the formation of the 6 sulfur fluorine sigma bonds, which are adopted in octahedral geometry like this. The bond angle is found to be 90 degrees. So this is about the sp3d2 hybridization. So far we discussed sp, sp2, sp3, sp3d and sp3d2 hybridization. Okay. In the next class I will explain how to predict very fastly so the hybridization and the geometry of a molecule. So thank you very much.